Hi everybody. So in this video, I just want to talk a little bit about a weekly overview of what we're doing in O11 and a couple reminders about 101. So in 101, you have the first part of the critical evaluation planner due. There's a lot of questions to answer there. It's going to ask you to pull information from the article that we're all reading as the focus of our critical evaluation, the Susan Blum ungrading article, and from the secondary source that you found last week on the databases that provides a counter argument. So, when you are pulling from all of those places, from all of those articles, and answering the planner, you're going to have a fair amount of work to do. I created 2 videos over in 101 and posted them, and I really want you to watch them. They are long, I know. It is a fair amount of information, but I think it's important information for making sure that you're successful on that assignment. It is a step-by-step process as well. There's not a whole lot that I think we can do over in this course, more than what you're already doing in that worksheet. And the instruction that I provide on those videos, I think, is going to walk you through getting through that worksheet. So that's what you're focusing on in 101. Over here in O11, we're going to be working on Unit 4A Progress Checkpoint. And the purpose of this Progress Checkpoint is actually in a little bit of a different direction. It's going to be talking about something called CSET. So CSET stands for Claim, Setup, Evidence, Tie-In. It's something we've talked about before in 101. It's something I've linked resources for here in O11 before. But the Unit 4A Progress Checkpoint is going to be kind of a deep dive into it. And the reason why is because it is a very helpful skill in starting to think about how to construct paragraphs with evidence from outside sources incorporated. CSET is a formula you can use to incorporate your sources into your papers. And one of the reasons I'm having you focus on that, even though we're not going to be writing paragraphs for a little bit yet, and we've already written paragraphs, the reason I'm having you focus on it here is because this is a skill that's going to get mentioned again in 101, and it's going to get mentioned in 102. And I know that for a fact because I taught it today to my 102 students. And I had them complete the CSET challenge. So this is something you might be doing again, but I think it's going to be helpful to go ahead and learn about it right now. Because as we move forward, this is the kind of thing you might want to talk about in your Unit 4 journal about a resource that can really help you in figuring out how to construct strong paragraphs that incorporate evidence. So I want to make sure that you're in O11, we're taking this time to be really clear on how this formula works and how you can kind of use it to your advantage when later on you're constructing these paragraphs in your critical evaluation. So the actual assignment is going to be to just read the resources about CSET, about the paragraph writing formula that is CSET, and take notes on those articles. And that's it. I just want to make sure that you have an idea about it. I do also want you to complete the CSET challenge exercise because that's going to help you to understand a little bit better what this might look like in a paper. So the steps are to read and take notes, handwritten or typed in a Word document on these 3 CSET articles. What is CSET? Writing samples with and without CSET, and common problems and what not to do. I'll probably actually change this around so these are numbered. What this says here is just that if you have difficulty understanding any part of the formula, there's also an individual article for every single one of these resources. Steps in the process. So if you click on what is CSET, it's going to take you to this article, and it's going to explain that CSET stands for Claim, Setup, Evidence, Tie-In. And it's a formula you can follow to create a strong paragraph. You can have a paragraph that starts claim, setup, evidence, tie-in, and you can even incorporate another piece of evidence, and then you would have setup, evidence, tie-in again. It's a formula that you can use throughout your academic career, and it helps you to write strong paragraphs. So For each of these, if you want to know more about claim or setup, or if evidence doesn't quite make sense to you, or I had some questions in 102 today about tie-in, there is an article in the CSAT resources that covers each of the steps. So one for the claim, one for the setup, one for the evidence, one for the tie-in. So if, as you're taking notes, you're like, I don't really understand what the tie-in means, by all means, open up the article that's just on tie-ins and write notes on that as well. This is going to be kind of up to you. You can individualize it as you need it. Let me just pull this up again. There we go. It's taking me a minute. It's late. Late at night. Okay. So this Unit 4 progress checkpoint, all I want you to do is read and take notes on these 3 articles and then complete the CSAT challenge exercise. So that's going to be a chance to get some practice with how CSAT works. Make sure you understand it. And then here, what it says to submit a copy of your notes on the 3 articles. You can upload a Word document containing typed notes, or you can upload photographs or scans of your handwritten notes. I prefer 1 picture per page so that I can actually read it. Don't upload a faraway picture of just 3 sheets of paper. I want to be able to actually see what you wrote. But if you prefer to handwrite, you're more than welcome. Here's an example of how it might look if you decided to write it out on a Word document. If I were you, I would maybe create little sections for each of the articles. I think it's called What Not to Do. I'm trying to remember the other one. Common Problems and What Not to Do. Okay. Oh, I'm going to spell that right. And you might want to write what it stands for. However you want to write these notes. I'm not going to tell you how to write your notes, but this is the kind of, you would just continue to write the thoughts down, to make notes as you've been taught to do before, and create notes so that you're making sure that you're retaining the information, you're writing it down, you're engaging with it, and then all you have to do is post that. So, I mean, if it's not the most beautiful document in the world, I'm fine with that. I just want some evidence that you read through the CSATs and the paragraphs and that they made sense to you. And do check out the CSAT challenge because it, I think, is a really good example of some different paragraphs that are written in the CSAT formula, so you can get an idea for what this kind of writing looks like. All right, so that's all you have to do this week. Your progress checkpoint, read those 3 articles and take notes on them. And then upload your notes.